William Davenport, a man of immense wealth, lived in a sprawling mansion overlooking the Pacific Ocean. The mansion, with its grand architecture and breathtaking views, was a symbol of his success. His life was a tapestry woven with threads of gold, a testament to his business acumen and relentless ambition. The interiors of his home were adorned with the finest art and furniture, each piece a reflection of his exquisite taste. William's journey to wealth was not an easy one. He started with nothing but a dream and an unyielding determination to succeed. In his youth, he worked late into the night, often in a small, dimly lit office, driven by a vision of a better future. Through countless late nights and strategic deals, he built an empire from the ground up, each success a stepping stone to his current opulence. His business acumen was unmatched, and his ability to negotiate and close deals became legendary. Yet, behind the facade of success, William harbored a heart heavy with loneliness. Despite the grandeur of his surroundings, he often found himself feeling isolated and disconnected. The spacious rooms of his mansion echoed with emptiness, a constant reminder of the love he had lost. The silence was deafening, amplifying the void that filled his heart. He dined alone, the grand table a setting for one, his meals lacking the warmth of shared laughter and conversation. The vastness of the dining room only served to highlight his solitude. His days were spent in his study, surrounded by books and artifacts, seeking solace in their silent companionship. The library, with its towering shelves and rare collections, was his sanctuary, yet it could not fill the emptiness within. William often found himself gazing at the setting sun, its golden rays painting the sky with hues of orange and purple. The beauty of the sunset was a fleeting comfort, a momentary distraction from his inner turmoil. The beauty of nature, though captivating, served as a poignant reminder of the void in his life. The serene landscapes contrasted sharply with the storm of emotions that raged within him. His wealth had brought him material comfort, but had failed to fill the emptiness that gnawed at his soul. The luxurious settings, though opulent, felt hollow and devoid of true joy. He yearned for connection, for someone to share his life with, for someone to chase away the shadows that haunted his heart. The longing for companionship was a constant ache, a reminder of what he had sacrificed for success. Years of solitude had etched lines of sadness on his face, a stark contrast to the gleam of his expensive watch and the tailored perfection of his suits. The signs of aging were a testament to the passage of time and the loneliness that accompanied it. He was a man trapped in a gilded cage of his own making, his wealth both a blessing and a curse. The opulence that surrounded him felt like a prison, confining him to a life devoid of genuine human connection. It had shielded him from life's hardships, but had also robbed him of the simple joys of human connection. The barriers created by his wealth were insurmountable, leaving him isolated and yearning for genuine relationships. His heart, once vibrant and full of life, had grown cold and weary, yearning for a spark to rekindle its flame. The loneliness had taken its toll, leaving him emotionally distant and detached. The grand mansion, with its lavish gardens and opulent rooms, stood as a monument to his success, but also to his profound loneliness. The beauty of his surroundings was a stark contrast to the emptiness he felt inside. As he walked through the empty halls, the echo of his footsteps was a constant reminder of the solitude that enveloped his life. The grandeur of his home only served to amplify his sense of isolation. In his younger years, William had a close-knit group of friends. They celebrated small victories together, their laughter echoing through the modest spaces they occupied. Those were simpler times, filled with genuine joy and camaraderie. But as his business grew, the demands of his work began to take precedence. Friends drifted apart, and William found himself increasingly isolated. The pursuit of success had come at a great personal cost. He missed important events, birthdays, and gatherings, his absence noted but gradually accepted. The photos of friends celebrating without him became a painful reminder of what he had sacrificed. The moments he missed could never be reclaimed. His romantic relationships fared no better. The long hours and constant travel strained his connections, leading to heartbreak and a series of failed relationships. The emotional toll was immense, leaving him wary of opening his heart again. William often found himself looking at old love letters and mementos, the memories of past loves a bittersweet comfort in his solitude. The relics of his past relationships were a reminder of the love he once had and lost. Even at charity events and social gatherings where he was surrounded by people, William felt a profound sense of loneliness. His wealth and status created a barrier, making genuine connections difficult. The superficial interactions left him feeling more isolated than ever. Family, too, had become distant. The demands of his empire left little time for family gatherings, and the once close bonds had frayed over time. The photos of happier times were a stark contrast to his current reality. In the grand rooms of his mansion, William often felt small, a solitary figure in a world he had built but could no longer fully enjoy. The vastness of his home only served to highlight his sense of insignificance. His heart, heavy with the weight of his choices, yearned for change, for a chance to reclaim the simple joys he had lost along the way. The desire for a different life was a constant presence, a reminder of what could have been. As he walked through the empty halls, the echo of his footsteps was a constant reminder of the solitude that enveloped his life. The grandeur of his surroundings was a stark contrast to the emptiness he felt inside. In his early days, William had a mentor who guided him through the complexities of the business world. The mentor's wisdom and experience were invaluable, shaping William's approach to business and life. They celebrated successes together, the mentor's pride in William evident in their shared moments of triumph. These memories were a source of inspiration and a reminder of the importance of guidance and support. William often reflected on his mentor's advice, the lessons learned shaping his decisions and actions. The mentor's words echoed in his mind, a guiding light in moments of doubt and uncertainty. In an effort to give back, William began mentoring young entrepreneurs, sharing his knowledge and experience. These interactions brought a sense of fulfillment, a connection to his own journey and the challenges he had overcome. The young entrepreneurs looked up to William, their admiration and respect a source of pride. These relationships provided a sense of purpose, a reminder of the impact he could have on others' lives. Despite these connections, the solitude remained. William often found himself in deep thought, reflecting on the choices that had led to his current state. The weight of his decisions was a constant presence, a reminder of the cost of success. His heart yearned for genuine connection, for relationships built on trust and mutual respect. The desire for a deeper, more meaningful life was a constant ache, a reminder of what he had lost in his pursuit of wealth. As he walked through the empty halls, the echo of his footsteps was a constant reminder of the solitude that enveloped his life. The grandeur of his surroundings was a stark contrast to the emptiness he felt inside. William's journey began in a modest home, far removed from the opulence he would later achieve. As a young boy, he dreamed of a life beyond the confines of his small town, his ambitions fueled by a desire to create a better future. He worked odd jobs to support his family, each task a stepping stone towards his ultimate goal. The determination that drove him was evident even in his youth, a relentless pursuit of success that would define his life. His first business venture was a small startup fraught with challenges and setbacks, but William's resilience and innovative thinking saw him through, each obstacle a lesson learned and a step closer to his dreams. The breakthrough came with a major deal that catapulted his business into the spotlight. The celebration of this success was a moment of triumph, a validation of his hard work and perseverance. With this success, William expanded his empire, taking calculated risks and making strategic decisions that solidified his position in the business world. His leadership and vision were instrumental in his rise to prominence. The wealth that followed allowed him to indulge in a luxurious lifestyle, with homes in multiple cities, private jets, and a collection of rare artifacts. Yet, despite the material comforts, a sense of emptiness lingered. The grand mansion, with its opulent rooms and lavish gardens, stood as a testament to his success, but also to his profound loneliness. The beauty of his surroundings was a stark contrast to the emptiness he felt inside. William often found himself reflecting on the choices that had led him to this point. The pursuit of wealth had come at a great personal cost, leaving him with a heavy heart and a longing for the simple joys he had sacrificed. His heart yearned for genuine connection, for relationships built on trust and mutual respect. The desire for a deeper, more meaningful life was a constant ache, a reminder of what he had lost in his pursuit of wealth. As he walked through the empty halls, the echo of his footsteps was a constant reminder of the solitude that enveloped his life. The grandeur of his surroundings was a stark contrast to the emptiness he felt inside. One dreary afternoon, a glimmer of hope arrived in the form of Mrs. Eleanor Wright, the new housekeeper. Eleanor was a woman of humble origins, her life a stark contrast to William's world of luxury. She carried herself with a quiet dignity, her eyes reflecting a lifetime of hard work and resilience. Her touch, gentle yet firm, transformed the cold, impersonal spaces of the mansion into something resembling a home. Eleanor moved through the mansion with an air of quiet efficiency, her presence a soothing balm to William's troubled soul. She brought with her the scent of freshly baked bread and the comforting aroma of lavender, transforming the sterile atmosphere of the mansion into something warmer and more inviting. Her gentle humming filled the empty hallways, a melody that spoke of hope and resilience. One day, as Eleanor dusted William's study, a glint of gold caught his eye. It was a necklace, a delicate silver chain with a heart-shaped pendant worn by Eleanor. The pendant held a small, faded photograph of a young woman with laughing eyes and a cascade of dark hair. The woman in the picture bore a striking resemblance to Eleanor, reminding William of a time long ago, a time before the weight of his wealth had isolated him from the world. The sight of the necklace sent a jolt of recognition through William, his breath catching in his throat. His heart pounded against his ribs, a frantic rhythm that mirrored the turmoil in his mind. He stared at the necklace, his eyes wide with disbelief and a hint of something akin to fear. The years melted away and he was no longer the master of the mansion, but a young man, head over heels in love, his heart brimming with hope and dreams. "Eleanor!" William's voice was a mere whisper, hoarse with unshed tears. He reached out, his hand trembling slightly as if to touch the pendant, yet he stopped short, his fingers hovering in midair. The years may have etched lines on his face and stolen the spring in his step, but the emotions that the necklace evoked were as raw and potent as if it were yesterday. Eleanor turned, her brow furrowed in concern at the uncharacteristic tremor in her employer's voice. "Yes, Mr. Davenport?" she asked, her gaze shifting from his pale face to his outstretched hand. She had grown accustomed to his quiet demeanor, his air of detached politeness, and this sudden display of emotion both surprised and worried her. "The necklace," William managed, his voice regaining a semblance of its usual composure, but the tremor in his hand betrayed his inner turmoil. "The one you're wearing, it's—" He paused, struggling to articulate the whirlwind of thoughts and emotions that threatened to overwhelm him. How could he possibly explain the significance of that small, tarnished pendant without revealing a past he had kept buried for so long? Eleanor instinctively clutched the pendant, her fingers tracing the outline of the heart-shaped locket. "It was my mother's," she said softly, her voice tinged with a hint of sadness. "She left it to me when she passed away. It's one of the few things I have left of her." She looked at William, her eyes searching his for an explanation, for some clue as to why this simple piece of jewelry had affected him so deeply. Section 4. Whispers of the Past. Love and Loss in Paris. The necklace held a secret, a painful memory that William had kept locked away for years. It was a reminder of a love lost, a love that had burned brightly but had been extinguished too soon. He was transported back to his youth, to the cobblestone streets of Paris, where he had met a young artist named Sophie. She was the epitome of Parisian chic, with her gamine haircut, her colorful scarves, and her infectious laughter. Sophie had been the muse of his youth, the woman who had awakened his soul and made him believe in the power of love. They had met at a small cafe on the left bank, her laughter ringing out above the murmur of conversation and the clinking of coffee cups. He had been captivated by her vivacity, her passion for life, and her talent, which poured onto the canvases that littered her tiny apartment. He had bought the necklace for Sophie on their first anniversary, the heart-shaped pendant a symbol of their love. She had cried when he gave it to her, tears of joy that had mirrored his own. They had promised each other forever under the twinkling lights of the Eiffel Tower, their love a beacon of hope in a world that often seemed shrouded in darkness. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. Sophie fell ill, a cruel twist of fate that snatched her away from him, leaving him with nothing but shattered dreams and a heart filled with grief. He had buried his sorrow deep within himself, building walls of wealth and ambition to shield himself from the pain of her loss. The necklace, the last gift he had given her, became a symbol of his love and his loss, a tangible reminder of a past he could never reclaim. Section 5. The Housekeeper's Secret, A Daughter's Legacy. Eleanor, unaware of the turmoil raging within William, continued to dust the bookshelves, her touch gentle and reverent. She treated his belongings with respect, as if sensing the stories they held, the memories they evoked. She had always been drawn to old objects, each scratch and dent telling a tale, each piece a window into a life lived. She paused, her fingers lingering on a leather-bound photo album, its spine cracked with age. "This must hold so many memories, Mr. Davenport," she remarked softly, her gaze drawn to the faded gold lettering on the cover. "Have you had it long?" She had always been curious about her employer, this man who seemed so alone, so burdened by an unseen weight. William, startled from his reverie, looked at the album, a wave of nostalgia washing over him. "Yes," he replied, his voice barely audible. "It's from a different lifetime." He reached out, his fingers tracing the outline of the album, his touch hesitant, as if afraid to disturb the ghosts of the past. "My mother," Eleanor continued, her voice barely above a whisper. "She never spoke much about my father. She said he was an artist, a dreamer, who had loved her fiercely but had been taken from her too soon." She looked at William, her eyes filled with a lifetime of unspoken questions, a yearning for answers to a past that had always seemed shrouded in mystery. Section 6. Bridging the Gap, Shared Memories and Untold Stories. William's heart pounded in his chest, a drumbeat of anticipation and dread. Could it be? Could this woman, this kind, gentle soul who had brought a ray of light into his lonely existence, be connected to his past, to the woman who had stolen his heart all those years ago? He had to know, had to uncover the truth, even if it ripped open old wounds and exposed the vulnerability he had kept hidden for so long. "Eleanor," he began, his voice trembling slightly. "Your mother, what was her name?" He held his breath, hoping against hope that his suspicions were unfounded, yet dreading the confirmation that would shatter the fragile peace he had built around his broken heart. Eleanor, sensing the gravity of the moment, turned to face him, her eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. "Her name was Sophie," she replied softly, her gaze never leaving his. "Sophie Dubois. But she always said that life had a way of changing names, changing destinies." She paused, her brow furrowed in thought, as if trying to recall a distant memory. "She used to tell me stories about a man she had loved in Paris, a man with kind eyes and a smile that could light up a room." As Eleanor spoke, a wave of memories washed over William, each one a vivid reminder of his time with Sophie. The way she used to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear when she was concentrating on her painting, the way her eyes sparkled with mischief when she was about to play a prank, the way she used to say his name, her voice a caress that sent shivers down his spine.